What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video, this time for loose graded vintage Star Wars figures. Lots of good data here, and although it doesn't look like it, this Luke was a double telescoping saber, and that one sold for a really great price, the lowest I've seen for such a high grade figure in a long time. And as you can see, there's a number of first 12 figures. We've got a vinyl cape Jawa that sold for about market, some later figures as well. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, it's patreon.com/actionfiguregrader. But without further ado, I wanted to go ahead and dig right in because there were a lot of really good sales. And the first one we're going to start off with are some sales from SW Seller. I've gotten to know this seller offline, and he always has really great figures. And this was an AFA 80 plus Sand People long eye tubes. This is one I believe I had in my what to buy video, and I guessed it would sell for between $160 and $175. It went a little bit higher. It was again an AFA 80 plus with the brand new case style. It sold for $192. You know, as a reference point, I bought mine last year for $160 shipped. This one again sold for $192, but that's a beautiful figure. And when I say the long eye tubes, it just is referring to those eye stalks that are a little bit longer on this variation versus the standard Hong Kong. And so you can kind of see that there in this side profile. This seller always has really nice high-res photos and just beautiful figures. You have an SW Seller. You have an unlimited supply of near mint figures. I don't know where you get them from, but they are incredible. And that was certainly a beauty. He also had an AFA 85 Obi-Wan Kenobi Hong Kong with the white hair, and this one was a lettered saber hilt, I believe. So this is the early saber that came for some of these early Ben Kenobis. And again, this one had the white hair. This is one I still would like to pick up. This one sold for $271. That's another really good price in my opinion. You got to remember that during the height of the Obi-Wan series, these figures were going for about $450. So they've come down a little bit in price, and now's a really good time to pick up a high grade, loose graded Obi-Wan Kenobi if you're looking. But I thought that was a great deal on an absolutely stunning figure. Next up was an AFA 85 Darth Vader. And this one was also a lettered saber hilt in really clean condition, brand new case style. That one sold in an auction for $290. I thought, again, that was a great price. I've seen as high as $330 recently for an AFA 85 with the lettered saber hilt. And $290 was a great price there. Next up, he also had a small head Han Solo AFA 85. This is one I would like to pick up to match with my large head Han. And again, brand new case style. That one sold for $348. Again, that price is down. This one was going for the longest time for around $400 to $450. That one again sold for $348. Another really great deal. He also had an AFA 80 R5D4, the Hong Kong, and this one was the 1978 date stamp. There is one with a 1977 date stamp. This one had slight yellowing to the sticker, as you can see there, so appropriately graded with the AFA 80, and that one sold for $140 on 14 bids. All of these closed on June 24th, so really good deals on some high-grade, loose-graded vintage figures. Here was the big boy. This one was an older case style, AFA 85 vinyl cape Jawa, and that one included a certificate of authenticity. As you can see there, it was graded October 23rd of 2015. So this one had the older case style. This one did not even have the dowels that went around the neck. And I was guessing this would sell for around $3,500. And even this one came in a little bit lower than expected. And that one sold for $3,270, which is still obviously a very high number. But you got to remember, even on Facebook, I've seen these selling for between $3,500 and $4,000. So I think a very fair deal on a vinyl cape Jawa there, high grade AFA 85. Excuse me, AFA 85 on that one. Next up was an AFA 80 plus Luke Skywalker Farm Boy. This one also had the lettered saber, so he had the Vader, the Obi-Wan, and the Luke Skywalker Farm Boy all in high grade with the lettered sabers, which are the early, one of the earlier production sabers. And that one sold for $325 on 37 bids. Again, I think a very fair price. Maybe just slight yellowing to the arms there. You can see it's a slightly different color versus the torso and the legs, but still an 80 plus Luke Farm Boy lettered saber for $325. Yes, please. I would pay that. That's a really good price there, I think, for a nice looking Farm Boy. He also had this one. This is the double telescoping Luke Skywalker. So the inner filament on this one was kind of retracted. Sometimes AFA displays these with the inner filament all the way retracted or displayed, as you can see there. It's got the full groove there. I don't know why they made that inner filament pushed in versus all the way out, but it's still, it came back with an AFA 80, and here's the COA on it. This one was graded in 2019. And that one, so this is the lowest price I've seen for an AFA 80 double telescoping Luke Skywalker, $1404. Wow, that is a very, very low price. The most recent one on my memory bank here was $2,200. There was an AFA 85 that sold last year for around $3,500. But I was thinking for an AFA 80, this was going to sell for between $2,000 and $2,200. It came in at $1404. That was a fantastic deal. Really, really good buy there. Again, that's the lowest price I've seen recently for one of these. And somebody got a really good price on that one. So be on the lookout for SW Seller, because he always has very nice figures. Lots of rarities, lots of very high grades. He also had an AFA 80 Princess Leia loose graded. This is the standard Hong Kong. And this one had the brown hair and belt, which I find to be a little bit more tough to find than the black hair and belt. Again, AFA 80 on that one. And you can see the kind of slight discoloration to the legs and the arms versus the torso. Very common, though, and I think very appropriately graded. That one sold for $266. Now, there were a number of different Princess Leias that all sold on the same day or thereabouts that I wanted to go through. So this one was an AFA 80. Next up was a CAS 85 Princess Leia, and this one, it looks like it's also the brown hair and belt. It's hard to tell. It's not labeled by CAS, whether it's the brown or the black hair. It looks like the brown hair to me, but it's very tough to tell. I can never tell the difference. Even in hand, I've got one of each in hand in my collection, and it's such a subtle difference that it's very, very tough to tell. Anyway, that one was a CAS 85, and fairly recently graded with the nice case style there. That one sold for $320. So CAS 85 for $320 versus the AFA 80 that sold for $266. Now, what do you think an AFA 90 old case style would sell for? This price was a shocker. This one sold for $1,325. Now, that was not a buy it now. That was an auction. And this was the older case style. This one did not even have the dowels. So this was one of the earlier AFA cases. But what a shocking price. AFA 90 for $1,325. And this one was a no COO as well. So it's a little bit tougher to find the no COO. This would appear on like the Tri-Logo card backs or the straight Palatoy card backs. But again, AFA 90 for $1,325. That is just an insane price. But wow, just some 3 data points there that are just all over the map. 266, 320, and then jumping all the way to $1,325 for an AFA 90. So again, that is, it's not apples to apples here. This is a black hair and belt no COO versus the Hong Kongs, but just an incredible final sales price and further proof that high grade will get you high prices. I could not believe that price. Next up was a CAS 85 Cloud Car Pilot. Beautiful looking figure there. I think that's every bit of a CAS 85. And that one sold for $192.50. We've seen AFA 85 pluses hit as high as $900. But I think for this one, that's a very, very fair price to pay for a CAS 85. Next up was a UKG 90 Blue Smock Ugnaught. Now, there's a constant argument on Facebook in some of the vintage groups that blue smocks and purple smocks are basically the same, and purple is just degraded blues. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it, but this one is labeled blue smock, and it was a UKG 90, very high grade. That one sold for 208 pounds from the Muffin Man, and that one is $264 translated into US dollars. But that was a gorgeous figure. Here was a great deal. This was a Lily Letty solid limbs C-3PO, and it was only a UKG 70%, so not particularly high grade. But I do find it hard to find the Lily Letty C-3PO in good condition. It's just almost always the gold is scratched up or degraded. But this one sold for 82 pounds, which is 105 US dollars plus shipping. I thought that was a great price if you could live with the lower grade there, but that's a tough one to find in high grade. So if you're willing to live with a 70 grade, that's a tough foreign variant to find. This price really shocked me on the upper end as well. This was an AFA 75 plus Luke Bespin, but this is the tougher to find orange hair variation. And for a reference point, I was able to pick one of these up ungraded on eBay probably 2 or 3 years ago for $90. I think it was $80 or $90 shipped. I sent it off to CAS. It did get the orange haired label and it was graded CAS 85. But this one was a 75 plus with AFA, brand new K style, and that one sold for $300. So the orange haired Luke Bespin is a tough variant to track down. I think it only appeared, according to that one time, who's a fellow YouTuber and a buddy of mine, I think he said that these only appeared on 41 back ESBs, but don't quote me on that. I'm just going on memory from a past conversation or a past comment that he left on a video, but very tough to track that one down. And that one, again, sold for $300 in an auction, $300, 30 bids on that one. Next up was a UKG 85% Luke Jedi Green Saber. So the Luke Jedi had the brand new K style, and the subgrades were 85, 85, 80 for the cape. So really nice looking case there. I like how UKG displays these. It's just a nice presentation style. And that one sold in a buy it now situation for 160 pounds, which is 202 US dollars. Now, there was also an AFA 85 Flesh Face Hong Kong Blue Saber with the older K style. That one sold in an auction for 205 pounds, which is 260 US dollars. So that was a shocker too. Again, it was the oldest K style without even the dowels around the neck for the Luke Jedi. But it's a blue saber though, and blue sabers, just the saber by itself can set you back 100 to 150 bucks sometimes on Facebook. So 205 pounds, which is $260 for an AFA 85. That is a great deal. And then finally, this I thought was also a pretty good deal given the current environment for last 17 figures. It was an older case style, but it did have the dowels, so it's kind of like, I call it the second generation case from AFA. And this was an AFA 85 yak face, and this one sold in an auction for 490 pounds, which is 622 US dollars. Now, believe it or not, I have actually seen recently loose, ungraded, near mint plus condition yak faces sell for more than this price. So to get an AFA 85 for this price, I think that's probably about right. We've seen the newer case style AFA 85 yak faces start to approach $800 to $900 now, believe it or not. So I think that one I thought was a pretty good buy that kind of fell underneath the radar there. And again, if you're willing to live with kind of a little bit older case style from AFA, it's an AFA 85, and to get it for 622 US dollars, I thought that was a pretty good deal. So anyway, just some more recent data points out there. I think the biggest shocker was that AFA 90 no COO Princess Leia that sold for $13.25. That's mind-blowing. But for the most part, I thought that there were some pretty good deals out there in this batch of auctions. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.